Chapter 16 The Sun and Earth. There was an impromptu celebration that night in Karajpa. Their princess was safe. The insufferable Tarak had been defeated. Many people in Karajpa believed that even his own mother must have loathed the surly preacher. He had few supporters in the liberal city, but there were rules for duels. Hence, the moment Sati had forgiven Tarak, paramedics had rushed in to take him to the hospital. Surgeons had labored for 6 hours to save his life. Much to the dismay of the town folk, they had succeeded. Have you heard about the poem of the sun and the earth? Sati asked Shiva. They were standing on the balcony of the governor's palace while a boisterous party raged inside. No, said Shiva with a seductive grin, coming a little closer to her. But I had loved to hear it. Apparently, the earth sometimes thinks of the possibility of coming closer to the sun, said Sati. But she can't do that. She is so base and his brilliance so searing that she will cause destruction if they draws him closer. What now? I disagree, said Shiva. I think the sun burns for only as long as the earth is close to him. If the earth wasn't there, there would be no reason for the sun to exist. The sun doesn't exist merely for the earth, it exists for every single planet in the solar system. Isn't it really upon the sun to determine whom he chosen to exist for? No, said a melancholic Sati, looking at Shiva. The moment he becomes the sun, he answers a higher calling. He does not exist for himself, he exists for the greatest good. His luminosity is the lifeblood of the solar system, and if the earth has any sense of responsibility, she will not do anything to destroy this balance. So, what should the sun do? Asked Shiva, his hurt and anger showing on his face. Just waste his entire life burning away, looking at the earth from a distance? The earth isn't going anywhere. The sun and the earth can still share a warm friendship, but anything more is against the laws. It is against the interests of others. Shiva turned away from Sati in anger. He looked northward to seek solace from his holy lake. Feeling nothing, he looked up at the skies, towards the gods he did not believe in. Damn it! His clenched fist struck the balcony railing powerfully, dislodging some bricks before he stormed off. Outside the city walls, in a forest area, a few soldiers lay in wait. At a slight distance, two hooded figures were seated on large rocks. The captain of the platoon of soldiers stood rigid in attention next to the duo. He scarce believed that he was standing next to the queen himself. The privilege overwhelmed him. One of the hooded figure raised his hand to motion for the captain to step closer. On the hooded figure's wrist was a leather bracelet with the serpent Om. Vishwadyuman, are you sure this is where we are supposed to meet him? He is late by nearly an hour. Yes, my lord, replied Vishwadyuman nervously. This is exactly where he had said he would come. The other hooded figure turned and spoke in a commanding voice, a feminine one, a voice used to being obeyed without question. That man makes the queen of the Nagas wait. Turning to the other hooded figure, she continued, I trust you have worked this out in detail. I hope I haven't entered this wild territory in vain. The other hooded figure moved his fleshy hands in a motion asking the queen for patience. Have faith, your highness. This man is our key to giving the Suryavanshis a blow that they will never recover from. Apparently, there was an Agni Pariksha fight between the princes and a man in the city yesterday, said Vishwadyuman suddenly, trying to impress the queen with his sharp ear for local knowledge. I do not have the exact details. I just hope that our man was not involved in it. The queen turned swiftly to the other hooded figure, then back to Vishwadyuman. Please wait with the other soldiers. Vishwadyuman sensed he had said something he shouldn't have and quickly retreated before his lord's stern gaze could reprimand him. This is why he had been told in training school that a good soldier never speaks unless spoken to. She's here? Asked the queen with barely suppressed anger. The other hooded figure nodded. I thought I had told you to forget about this, said the queen sternly. There is nothing to be gained by this quest. Do you realize that your stupid attack on Mount Mandar might have led them to suspect that we have a mole in their midst? The male figure looked up in apology. Did you come here for her? No, Your Highness, said the hooded figure with a deeply respectful tone. This was the place where he asked us to meet him. The queen raised her hand out and gently patted the man's shoulder. Stay focused, my child, said the queen softly. If we pull this off, it will be our biggest victory ever. Like you just said, we will strike a blow that they will find very difficult to recover from. The man nodded. And yet, continued the queen, pulling her hand back into the shelter of her black robes. Your preoccupation with her provokes you into making uncharacteristic decisions. Are you aware of his clear message that she can't be touched? Otherwise, the deal is off. The hooded figure stared at the queen in surprise. How did you? I am the queen of the Nagas, my child, she interrupted. I have more than one piece on the chessboard. The hooded figure continued to look at the queen, ashamed about his poor call at Mount Mandar. The queen's next words added to his shame. You are making surprising mistakes, my child. You have the potential to be the greatest Naga ever. Don't waste it. Yes, Your Highness. The queen appeared to relax. I think when we are alone now, said the queen, maybe you can call me Mossy. After all, I am your mother's sister. Of course you are, said the hooded figure as a smile reached his eyes. Whatever you say, Mossy. It had been 2 weeks since the Agni Pariksha. Sati had recovered sufficiently for the convoy to continue its journey to its next destination. Shiva, Parvateshwar, and Brihaspati sat together in Shiva's chambers at the guest house. It's agreed then, said Parvateshwar. I will make the arrangements for us to commence our journey a week from today. By that time, Sati should have recovered completely. Yes, I think that is a suitable plan. Agreed, Shiva. Parvateshwar, I will not be accompanying you any further, said Brihaspati. Why? Asked Parvateshwar. Well, the new chemicals that I had ordered have arrived. I was considering going back with the consignment to Mount Mandar so that the experiments can begin as soon as possible. If we can get this right, then the consumption of water for making the somras will reduce drastically. Shiva smiled sadly. I'm going to miss you, my friend. And I you, said Brihaspati, but I'm not leaving the country. When you finish your tour, come to Mount Mandar. I will take you around the Sylvan forest near our facility. Yes, said Shiva with a grin. Perhaps you will reveal some of your scientific skills and discover a plausible explanations for the blue throat. Both Shiva and Brihaspati burst out laughing. Parvateshwar, who did not understand the private joke, looked on politely. Just one point, Brihaspati, said Parvateshwar. I will not be able to divert any soldiers from the royal entourage. I will speak with Governor Jhuleshwar about sending some soldiers along with you on your return journey. Thank you, Parvateshwar, but I'm sure I will be fine. Why should a terrorist be interested in me? There was another terrorist attack yesterday in a village some 50 kilometers from Mohenjo-daro, said Parvateshwar. The entire temple was destroyed and all the Brahmins killed. Another one, said Shiva, angered. That is the third attack this month. Yes, said Parvateshwar. They are getting bolder, and as usual, they escaped before any backup could arrive to give them a real fight. Shiva clenched his fist. He had no idea how to counter the terror attacks. There was no way in which one could prepare for them since nobody knew where they would strike next. Was attacking Swadeep, the Chandravanshi's own country, the only way to stop this? Brihaspati kept quiet, sensing Shiva's inner turmoil. He knew there were no easy answers. Looking at Shiva, Parvateshwar continued. I will also get my people to make preparations for our journey. I will meet you in the evening for dinner. I think Sati can finally join us. I will send instructions for Nandi and Veerbhadra to also join us. I know you like their company. Shiva was startled by Parvateshwar's uncharacteristic thoughtfulness. Thank you, Parvateshwar. This is very kind of you, but I believe Kritika, Nandi, and Veerbhadra are going to a flute recital tonight. That crazy Veerbhadra has even brought some jewels so that he would look like a country bumpkin next to Nandi. Parvateshwar smiled politely. But it will be a pleasure to dine with you, said Shiva. Thank you, said Parvateshwar as he got up. After a few steps, he stopped and turned around. Overcoming his hesitation, he mumbled, Shiva? Yes, Shiva got up. I don't think we have talked about this, said Parvateshwar, uncomfortable. But I would like to thank you for helping Sati in her Agni Pariksha. It was your clear thinking which led to victory. No, no, said Shiva. It was her brilliance. Of course it was, said Parvateshwar, but you gave her the confidence and the strategy to show her brilliance. If there is any person in the world that I relate to with a feeling beyond a sense of duty, it is Sati. I thank you for helping her. You're welcome, smiled Shiva, with enough sense to not embarrass Parvateshwar further by lengthening this conversation. Parvateshwar smiled and folded his hands into a namaste, while he had still not fallen prey to the country-wide Nilkant fever. He was beginning to respect Shiva. Earning Parvateshwar's esteem was a long journey that Shiva had only just begun. The journal turned around and walked out of the room. He is not a bad sort, said Brihaspati, looking at Parvateshwar's retreating back. He may be a little surly, but he is one of the most honest Suryavanshis I have ever met. A true follower of Lord Ram. I hope you don't get too upset by the ill-tempered things he says to you. I don't, said Shiva. In fact, I think very highly of Parvateshwar. He is one man whose respect I would certainly like to earn. Brihaspati smiled, seeing yet another instance of Shiva's large heart. He leaned closer and said, You are a good man. Shiva smiled back. I had not answered you the last time you had asked me, Shiva, continued Brihaspati. Honestly, I have never believed in the legend of the Nilkant. I still don't. Shiva's smile became a little broader. But I believe in you. If there is one person capable of sucking the negative energy out of this land, I think it will be you. And I will do all I can to help you in whatever way I can. You are the brother I never had, Brihaspati. Your mere presence is all the help I need. Saying so, Shiva embraced his friend. Brihaspati hugged Shiva back warmly, feeling a sense of renewed energy course through him. He swore once again that he would never back off from his mission, no matter what. It wasn't just the Meluha, it was also for Shiva, his friend. Over 3 weeks after Sati's Agni Pariksha, 7 courage convoys set off from Karachpa, moving in a column. 6 of them were dummies as compared to the usual 5. In the third carriage, Shiva sat with Sati along with Parvateshwar and Ayurvati. It was the first time that Parvateshwar was travelling in the same carriage as Shiva. Kritika had volunteered to ride, claiming that she was missing the scenic beauty of the countryside. Veerbhadra was more than pleased to ride alone with her in Nandi's platoon. They had journeyed just a few days away from Karachpa when the convoy was brought to a halt by a large caravan travelling hurriedly in the opposite direction. Parvateshwar stepped out of the carriage to enquire. Brigadier Varaka came up to Parvateshwar and executed a military salute. "What is the matter?" "My lord, there are refugees from the village of Kunj," said Varaka. "They are escaping a terrorist attack." "Escaping?" asked a surprised Parvateshwar. "You mean the attack is still on?" "I think so, my lord," said Vrata, his face filled with rage. "God damn it," swore Parvateshwar. Neither Meluha nor he had even got an opportunity like this to be present at the right time and right place with 1,500 soldiers while a terrorist attack was in process. And yet Parvateshwar's hands were tied. He was not allowed to take on any mission except to protect the Neelkant and the princess. "What nonsense," he thought to himself. "My orders forbid me from following my Kshatriya dharma." "What's the matter, Parvateshwar?" Parvateshwar turned to find Shiva right behind him. Sati and Ayurvati were getting out of the carriage as well. Before Parvateshwar could answer, a horrible noise tore through the quiet forest road. It was a sound Shiva had come to recognize. It declared the evil intentions of the conch shell bearer, loud and clear. It announced that an attack had begun. A Naga attack had begun.